And we are live Wednesday night with those guys, and Wednesday night with those guys are sponsored by those guys. Welcome everyone to Wednesday night with those guys, and this is where we promote usage of drones and talk about everything in the world of drones. How are you doing there, Lawrence?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Just waiting for tomorrow to get here so I can get out and go somewhere and fly.
Oh, okay.
I'm
Well,
thinking about
anyway, I'll say not to cut you off, but I just want to know, I'll let everybody out there in the chat know that I hope the weather has been kind to you in the last couple of days, as it has been here, and you've been able to get out and fly your drones. What's up, Bill? And you've been able to fly and exercise your wings, fly your wings, get your drone out there and do your thing. But anyway, Lawrence, how's everything with you?
good. Good. The weather's nice here in New York for once. It's just on the weekends when we have free time.
Right.
It's raining or wants to rain or something. But of course, during the week when you're busy or at work, the sun's out and shining. I just put in the chat that I'm waiting for tomorrow to get here. So perhaps I can go somewhere and fly. Who knows? What's up with you?
I'm all right. I'm just here doing my thing. You know, trying to make some things happen.
Okay. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Anyway, what's up? Welcome to Wednesday night with those guys. Let's see what's up to Bill, STM Jones, Rob Aviano. Haven't seen in a while. Hope all is well. Brooklyn, Jimmy, John Olson's here, and it's still early, so hopefully people start trickling in little by little. Barkley was here also. He's probably listening and or bouncing back and forth. You know, that's what people do.
Yeah, he was here earlier.
Yeah.
Top of the list there. Well, Sean, but Rob, you going down to Florida?
Yeah, Rob, you going to Florida this year? Or what? What's happening with that? Remember, the hurricane was last time. Chaos FPV, how are you? Welcome to this train.
Well, he might have went the year in between when we didn't go.
That's possible too. Yeah, that's possible. I think Stevie's supposed to be going. I don't know. I haven't spoken to him. I think he mentioned he might be going down there. I don't know how many people are going down there from New York though. This
Stevie
time
is everywhere. Stevie is everywhere.
Click that like button, guys.
If you
have to do it later on.
If you look twice,
appreciate it.
Stevie will be there.
Oh, as Steve says, he's got his Mini 4 3 weeks ago, and the weather's been crap. Yeah, I know the feeling. Problem is, when you do have time to fly, what happens? It rains or snows, or you got to run errands or do stuff around the house, right?
Well, there's not much to do otherwise if it is raining or snowing.
Yeah, true. Unless you have a tiny whoop and you can fly indoors.
Unless it's outdoor work you need to do in the house.
Yeah, right. When the weather's bad. Yeah. Well, people still clean their gutters, right? People still clean the gutters on the side of the houses and stuff. You better.
You know what? This new thing, right?
Hey, what's up, Angel? What's that?
That is designed to let the water through, but it doesn't.
Not the leaves.
Yeah, the leaves together in your gutter. I don't know how well it works.
I've seen the commercial for it. They just come in and it's a mesh net. And they bend it around your gutter, and the rain just falls in, and the leaves supposedly wash away.
It was actually,
and it keeps squirrels out too.
No, this thing looked like they actually made it look decorative, like it was part of your
part of the gutter.
Yeah, and because it's a whole.
Oh, Angel says he's out on Beach 9th and Rockaway about to fly. He just got an Air 3. I forgot. Oh, Rob says he'll be in Florida. Okay, we'll see you down there, Rob. We'll definitely see you down there.
We're gonna be down there, hopefully.
Yeah, provided nothing crazy happens, like I hit the mega or something. Because then I'm gonna have to go disappear for a while.
I
I'm
had the
just saying.
I had the mega. I'm definitely going.
In September, you're going to Dominican Republic? Okay. It says the only place they think of be getting some sunshine is in Dominican
You know,
Republic.
I was there a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, you were on a cruise, right?
Yeah, I stopped off there a couple of weeks ago. I had a fun for a few hours, you know, did a little sightseeing.
And came back with some cigars too, right?
Yeah, some cigars. Yeah, cigars. I got rum.
Oh yeah, yeah. That what you gave me was actually pretty good. I had never had um cane rum before. It actually had a piece of what is the sugar cane in it? It had a piece of sugar cane in the bottom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That,
I was like, wait a minute, he's trying to poison me here. I see something floating inside, but it was the actual sugar canes to me. It says meeting is now streaming on custom stream service. That must be something new.
I
You
don't
saw
know.
the message pop up too, right?
Yeah,
Okay. Thought it was just me.
I don't know what that's about.
And next to it, if you look straight to the left, you see a little signal dish. It's blinking 1, 2, 3 green.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm guessing that's good. As long as it's not yellow, we're streaming good. But
It,
what's up with you, man? What's going on with you
not
for the week?
good.
Oh, I forgot to load that video.
Who? What?
That
What?
video,
No, what?
the last video. I
The what?
forgot to load.
Oh, that video.
Yeah, that video.
Oh, okay.
Of course,
Well,
the machine wants to
there was a,
freeze up on me.
there's a few things on the drone agenda that we were going to talk about tonight. And there's a few things we were going to mention that we kind of talked about before. And then there was some stuff that we had saw, like everybody else did. There's no I spy, there's no I spy business in it, but it was all there.
Right.
The stuff that was leaked on what's that? X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it.
Hold on, I'm looking for something. No, keep going.
Uh-huh.
I found it. I found it. And now the job is to pause it. There we go. Okay.
Things.
Sorry about that. All right, there it is. I got it loaded.
No, but
Sorry about that.
okay. No,
Hey, Gary.
we were just you got Gary and then this was
Angie too. Big Matt's in, just popped in.
Oh, Big Matt. But yeah, we were talking about it and we were looking at this and it was like, yo, this is funny because it's already had it seemed like it was forgotten. And I remember when they had put out all those sales on the Action 2, and you had like, oh, they got to have a bunch of them left over, try to
Mm-hmm.
get rid of them. And I was like, it's funny because I don't know how the science is inside these little components, how they make them up in their storage space and their ability to do firmware updates and what they can configure with the software that they're already using and how much of it is trickled down to the next product,
Right.
which means that a lot of them are probably very similar, if not the same.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So we saw the thing the other day, a few days back, almost about a week ago, right? Yeah, almost a week ago.
Right.
But they said that they released the update for the Action 2 camera was in the bundles and with 4 times the storage. Yeah, what happened? They upgraded the storage on the Action 2 on dual screen combo and the Action 2 power combo from 32 gig to 128 gig.
What's in those combos though? I mean, what are they offering?
Well, I'm saying the things that are in the combo with their setting up there with the versions that they with this not only claiming that they got more versatile magnetic accessories, which makes absolutely I mean, to me, a lot of these magnetic accessories that they have for these things, they were like some of the better selling points for these cameras.
Right.
But the thing about the fact that you got a camera now that this thing recording slow motion recording, hyperlapse, time lapse. What's this? This is the one I like. The quick clips.
Right.
Where it could be set to your device to do what is it 10, 15, and 30-second recordings.
Right.
That was cool. You got the what do you call live streaming in 1080p.
Right.
Frames per second. Those are basic features that are on it. So and also now you can so one of the other features on it is that you can use your action cam as a USB device when you're in what's it conference calls, which is a cool feature.
Well, there's something else also. From what I understand, they've made it compatible with gyro flow also.
Really?
And that was important because people were saying, oh, GoPro cameras can go into gyro flow. How come DJI can't? And they did do an update to the Action 2, but gyro flow just never worked right. Now I guess they fixed that issue.
Okay.
I'm guessing they fixed that issue. Hey, Flying Flynn.
I couldn't tell you, you know what I mean? I really couldn't. I don't have that action cam. I have,
you have the full size action cam. Yeah, the full size. This is the actual the box version. They're actually that's the first one, right? If I'm correct.
There's 3.
Yeah. Hold on a second. But the fact that it's compatible with gyro flow, that's a plus because it says also better Android 13 support for the camera as well.
That's a plus.
Yes, because you know there's so many millions of versions of Android out there.
Well, you're only using one at the time.
Right.
Everybody would update. Everyone would update. You got an action cam, right?
Yeah, I know. I noticed.
Huh?
Yeah, I know. I know we do.
No, I'm just saying, we gotta start using this instead of the what do you call it?
I would like to. I have the molding. I have the 3D molding. Remember, I had to get it printed. I have it printed. It's just a matter of
and start kind of moving it into because I see that they're liquidating the price on them constantly, and they're pretty good camera.
They're probably going to start toning them down, I'm guessing.
No, I don't know. I just think that the action cam business is a good game because DJI now is starting to find their little spot there. Now I'm with the first one, uh people had issues with it, and then now they found their way with it. And I think they're going, I guess they're gonna stay with this body style because they did with the fourth edition. It just works.
Right. Well, we will see. I haven't seen or used that version, so I
Mhm.
couldn't tell you.
You know, what I was checking out, and I thought it was interesting because this whole thing with the action cam, right, was about the internal storage, and that seems to be a big topic with a lot of. I never understood why it was such a big issue with a lot of people. Internal storage. Lawrence, you sleep?
No, I had the mic muted.
No, because um, in, a lot of people now are into, when they start looking at the specs when drones come out, when there's a new drone being released, a lot of times guys start getting into, you know, the internal storage when we start talking about the camera. And I don't know if it's a selling point or not for when you're looking to purchase the drone, but I noticed that a lot of people are interested in it. I think it's because if you either, I don't know if I never really used it. It, it, because I always had SD cards in the drone, or hope there was one nearby. That's a inside in-house joke. But
Hmm.
but yeah, with the whole thing about the internal storage, these DJI drones have different internal storage depending on the drone that you purchase.
I didn't know it varied so much until I saw this list, actually.
Yeah, and that is something that I don't, like I said, I don't know if it's a selling thing for anybody, but wow, some of them don't really give you much internal storage, if
Some
any.
of them don't, right? The most you're gonna get is 8 gig from a prosumer version. Eight
Yeah,
gig
pretty
soon.
much because uh I'm looking at the list. You got from well, the Mavic, the Mini 3 Pro, right? That was at one point 2 gigs. That's
That's the lowest.
yeah,
That's the lowest I've seen on the totem pole. The fact
yeah,
that they're giving you a gig, I'm like, come on, cell phones have more than that,
yeah.
right?
Then you got the 2 gig in the 4 Pro, the Mini 4,
Mm-hmm.
right? So from with the Air 2S, the Air 3,
Mm-hmm.
right, and the Mavic 3 series, right? Uh, it's all 8 gig.
You see what Big Matt's saying? With the way drones are headed in this country would benefit from the sales of action cams and other production accessories, gimbals, etc. You know what? They're trying to turn everyone. I agree with you to an extent, Big Matt,
Mhm.
about that. But I'm sorry for interrupting.
No, I'm listen. That's what the chat's there for, to interrupt, to be a part of the, to be a part of the stream. You
But
know,
1.2 gig. Okay, the Mini 4 2. But I see the gig increases dramatically.
Yeah, well, yeah, when you get into the Mavic 3 Enterprise,
Mm-hmm.
where you got 24 gig,
Yeah.
Avata was it 20 gig? You
Yeah,
know,
that's what
crazy.
surprised me.
We all pronounce that wrong, you know.
Avata. Hey,
Yeah, yeah.
Jody. And what is it? Avata?
No.
From Boston.
You need help.
You said it, we pronounced it wrong.
Yeah,
That's the only other
yeah.
way I could think of.
There's no D in that word.
I say Avata. Yeah, but yeah, say everyone says
Uh,
Avata, Avata,
right.
Avata. See, that's that lazy American talk.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how we do it. That's that lazy American talk. We're
'Cause
here to annoy you, Herman, Barkley says.
what happened?
Herman doesn't get annoyed.
Who?
You're right. Avata. Not Avada. I want Avada. A glass of Avada. That's
So
how
what
that's
happened? Barkley said we're here to annoy you.
yeah.
No, you don't annoy me. I'm just saying, you guys are part of the stream. That's why the chat is here. The chat is here to be a part of.
See, Brooklyn Jimmy got it. DJI Avada. Uh-huh.
Yeah, with the D.
Avada. Like I said, from Boston. I'm just saying.
You need help.
I know. I have issues sometimes.
Yeah, we know. We know.
Hey, they turned the water green up there. They're
Anyhow,
gonna do it this week. St. Patrick's Day is next week.
yeah, but the what do you call it? The RC2,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's got what, 8 gigs?
Yeah, yeah. Surprise.
Yeah.
Surprise.
So these are like what
Oh,
control
did you forgot
center?
the most important one?
What?
The DJI RC Pro, the
I didn't
Beastmaster of them.
I didn't get to it yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the RC2 and the RC both have 8 gigs of internal.
If Barkley says we don't annoy you, well, I'll try harder.
Okay. And the RC Pro with the 32
Yeah,
gigs.
see,
Yeah, but
that's
who
what I'm
cares?
talking about. RC Pro comes with 32 on the board, just
And the
like I
smart
believe
controller
everything from the.
16.
Go ahead.
The smart controller 16. But you can put uh the what do you call it?
An SD card.
SD card, yeah.
Right. Yes, you can put an SD card in them.
Yeah, so I mean it's
Excuse
cool.
me. It's highly suggested.
Now what is it?
What did Big Mac say? All drones should have at least 128 gigs internal storage. Would be faster. Soldered memory has faster
Oh God,
access.
no.
I agree with you, but then they would probably add another $600 just because
Oh
of that.
God. Yeah, no. Let's just leave it the way it is. You just ask them to be able to be able to transfer from from the card being in the drone straight into the computer. It'd be
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
yeah. That just let's stay right there. Because if we go any
Angel
further, they're gonna start charging you more.
Angel just said the signal on that Air 3S, the Air 3S. See, I'm bringing
Plus, Matt, you
the
gotta you
Air
gotta
3. The signal on the Air 3 is insane.
plus Matt, you gotta save room for when they start asking for the Mavic 4 to have a 1-inch sensor, not what do you call it, a full frame sensor. The whole 31 millimeter camera.
It's full frame.
Yeah, they're gonna start asking for a full frame on the Mavic 4, so they gotta save some money for that.
I hear you.
So looking for those things, you gotta just hold on a minute.
Don't rush it. Don't give them any ideas.
Let them figure out how to get a full frame camera on it first, because that's what they're gonna start calling for
Well,
next.
see, then they're gonna go see. That's why we got the Inspire.
No, but that's you could interchange those cameras, right?
Yeah,
Those
true.
lenses.
This is true. You're
Camera
talking about a
is
fixed camera.
fixed. Yeah,
You're
it's
talking
fixed.
about a fixed camera.
Yeah.
Okay, that
So,
makes lots of sense.
you know, like the what is it, the Matrice series, you got the M30, and then you got the 300 and 350, you know, those interchangeable cameras on those, but the 30 is fixed.
Right. Okay.
You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. That kind of thing. So, Lawrence, moving right along, giddy up and down the road here. You know, the one thing that I wanted to mention to you, right, that was coming up that I don't know if you saw it or not, but there's a couple of you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, some drone events that were supposed to be happening out there. You know, I know one of them is South Florida, but you know everybody knows about that one.
Yeah.
But there was some not only like you know consumer stuff and like that, but there was like some professional stuff. And there was one other show with the construction companies and stuff at the Javits Center. But the one thing we had here last week, right? We had Cody from Jonah Deere.
Yes.
And Jonah Deere is seems to be like something that was to be promising for some guys. And you know, it's funny because I really do like the product. So, you know, if for you guys that's interested, Jonah Deere, if you're a pilot looking to scale his operations, Jonah Deere might be for you. So check it out. You know, they got ads out there. Believe it or not, they got a video on YouTube. You can check it out. There's a link in the description below, and you can check out what they got to offer. So Jonah Deere for guys who are looking to scale their operations, manage their business. If it's a one-man operation, they'll take care of you can put all your files in there and everything is fine. You know, you can manage your business straight through it. Your own I guess what do they do, Lawrence? They got websites, not the website, but yeah, you know.
Well, if you're not familiar with Drone Dare,
Yeah,
basically it's a platform to help you manage your
yeah, your
drone
own
business.
business. That's what I'm saying.
It's a platform to help you manage your drone business. And what these guys do is you sign up with them and they help you or notify you of jobs in your area. Now, in order to do that, let me switch from this real quick. Let me switch to here and
You
back
know,
here like
you
that.
got to go into a whole campaign of it, Lawrence.
Huh?
You don't have to go into a whole commercial.
Right. They could watch the live stream from last week when Cody was on here actually, to find out what it's about. But it's a platform to help you manage your drone business.
Yeah, that's all. Basically, that's all it is, really.
And if you look in the description, there's a link going straight to them.
Wow, ain't this something?
What's that?
The messages that I receive. Good gosh.
Oh, yeah, you can imagine.
Mm-mm.
Anyway, welcome to Wednesday night with those guys.
You got to see me
Wednesday
there.
night with those guys is sponsored by those guys.
Guys.
Salute to you. Hey, everyone got it on cue too in the chat. SD storage is cheap internally, and these drones they use shitty Samsung micro SD cards soldered to the board. Yeah. I think after about 200 uses, they start corrupting your card or something like that. Who
Really?
knows? Well, that's not verified, so Don't
Listen,
quote me on it, but it feels like it.
you know what?
You get a new 64 gig card, you take it in,
Guys be
it gets thrown 100 times, and the 101st time it's corrupt.
guys be wearing the hell out of these drones, man, and moving those SD cards in and out of it. And I haven't heard
Mhm.
guys complaining about the SD card boards burning out on them, not reading the cards and stuff like that. Maybe your card might be shot.
Yeah, that's a strong possibility too. A lot of these guys you think you can get those cheaper U3 cards, but
The same cards that you was using from your Phantom 3
Mhm. Oh
and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
trying to use them in your Mavic
Hey,
3.
DJ, so what's up?
That ain't gonna work.
Yeah, that's how would you say? That's outdated already by years. Years being out. If you use that SD card in your Phantom 3, I'm sure it's outdated. What is that, a U1 rating? Huh? They're up to U4 or what?
U1 rating still could transfer 4K.
It can still transfer, yeah. That's like the old computers back in the day. When I worked for the Board of Ed, right? We got these
The lower the
tandem computers in, Herman,
yeah,
from
the
radio.
lower the gig, the lower the U.
You could cut that
Check
tandem.
it out.
What happened?
Go look on go buy SD cards, right? You check it out. The lower you lower the gig, the lower the U.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. But our computers were so slow when they were introducing those 386 computers, Herman, that I could cut on the computer and go make a sandwich and come back, and it would just be starting to boot up. That's how
See,
far back I go. Yeah, my mic is on.
what
You
happened?
just have to save your logs. It's just to save your logs, and the rest is maybe if you forgot your SD card. Basically, that is it. But come on,
Right.
most phones, Big Matt, you have to admit, Big Matt and Herman are more than 8 gigs.
Okay. Well, what is the phone for? Because
Copying and
because
taking
because
pictures and doing
because
everything.
no, because oh, that's what I'm saying. Because I know that I work in construction, right? And in office buildings,
Yeah,
I've never installed a phone since I've been working in construction.
really.
Every one of those things are computers.
Yeah, yeah, that's
They
true.
look like phones, but they operate like computers. All through fiber optic lines going into the
Mhm.
same main system, right?
Yeah, I get it.
So, what is your cell phone? Your cell phone is basically a computer, your communication device.
Yeah, that's a
It
mobile.
should have more than that.
I agree. I agree. But come on, I mean, if you're gonna sell me a drone
Mhm.
for $1,000,
Uh-huh.
1,500, $2,000,
You only
give me
go
some
inside and show a $2,000 camera
give me some
has
onboard memory.
that has SD cards that cost almost $100.
Okay. You said after that, after the drone are there, we were
Yeah.
going to show a video.
Well, me? I told you that. I'm sorry. I'm. Wait a minute. When did I tell you that?
Wow.
No.
See, I'm all ready to go.
Hold on.
What happened?
When I told you that?
In the lineup.
Mm-mm.
Let me go check the lineup.
You could be kind of wrong, but
I may be ahead of myself.
I know
Schedule.
because I know we was talking about how your man, what's his name there, Igor. Yeah,
Okay.
well, that was the thing that
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
we were talking about how him and your man Asta I mean,
Osita?
OsitaLV or OsitaLV. I don't know how you want to call them, or
Right.
55, however you want to call them. Or
Well, which one you want to put up first? The
listen, I don't care. The broom guy.
the broom guy. Oh,
Yeah,
that's Osita.
yeah.
That's Osita.
Am I outdating myself with that
Yeah.
one?
If people don't know what a broom is. That 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 that's a broom. Okay, here we
They
go.
don't know what a broom is, but oh boy, where we going? What are you doing? Don't confuse me. Don't confuse me. The first thing I was looking at when I saw that, I was like, yo, back in November, he had posted something that said it was time to sell your RS3.
I remember.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
I
But
do remember that. Here, hold on.
you
Here's
know, I just thought that was crazy because these guys throw shit out there, and it's like they throw it out there like it's Tourette's and
right.
stuff like that. You know,
Yeah.
well,
It's kind of blurred out, but it basically says it in a nutshell about the RS4 and the
no,
RS4.
no, that's not it either. But no, that wasn't it. But I'm just saying there was a few photos and stuff that had come out, but there was also one that had dropped from what was it, from your man, and said something about with Autel being a good competitor.
Yeah.
That yeah, there was just a bunch of, they just, like I said, they throw out stuff out there, and it's almost like I said, if you follow it and you listen to it, it's like almost like these guys got Tourette's because they just put their ever living thought on here, and it's like, okay,
Yeah, but usually when they post something, it's they're
kind of,
throwing
so yeah,
hints. They're throwing
an
teasers out there.
yeah, to an extent, yeah, and that's why I said to you, it's like if you look at it, it's like you go nuts trying to follow them. But yeah, there was that thing with the was that the Alpha was saying how it was a good competitor to the M30 and the hybrid Zooms.
Okay, yeah, that's right
That
here.
I thought that one was funny. But then you go, what you got?
That's the
That
Alpha,
guy. Yeah, the Alpha guy. Yeah,
the
that's him.
Autel Alpha.
Yeah, that guy.
That's supposed to be competition to, I'm guessing, the
The
T30.
yeah. What now? What was it? 7 days ago, and they had what was that? The one you had showed for, or second one you had showed photo or so with the what was it? The RS4 and the RS 4 Pro had was added to the FCC database.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's this right here. Give me a second. Pull that
yeah,
up. Pull that. There we go. There we go.
yeah. That was the parts and all that other stuff that they had, the
Hmm.
accessories. But there was an actual post that you had showed earlier that showed when he had posted that one
Yeah, I
they
got it right
the
here. This one.
FCC database, because we mentioned it last week on the stream when we
Yeah,
had
this was
saw
the
that.
post, and then the database was below it.
Right. We had mentioned that because we had mentioned that last week because we had saw it, and then now there's a couple of photos and stuff that had come out. Was from 5 days ago. It was post that was added by um Igoor. and it was showing what was it? A new set of goggles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep. These right here, everyone's in an uproar
which
because
yeah.
you guys that went out there and brought this set right here, I knew this was coming.
Hmm.
I knew this was coming. I didn't know of what type.
You
I
knew it
didn't
was
know. I knew they were coming out with a virtual. Well, I heard it. I heard they were coming out with a virtual pair. Virtual usually means they're putting cameras on.
well,
So
that's the interesting thing about it is
there it is.
these dudes leak all these pictures. I'm like, what was wrong with the damn goggles that they had already? Who knows?
See, exactly nothing, but these are not virtual because you don't have cameras.
I
This, the
got you.
objective of this is so when you put the goggles on, you
I
don't have
got
to
you.
take them off. They did it with Fly Zone, not Fly Zone, with
There's a few goggles out there that have
that
that.
have cameras, yes, FPV goggles specifically. But I had a pair that had a camera in front of it. And
There's
which is
a
cool
few out there. Yeah.
because you don't have to take the goggles off like this pair to pick up your drone or look at your drone. You can leave them on, and it's pretty good technology.
When it dropped the photo, it made him mention of what? An Avata?
This right here,
Yes.
yeah, this
Yeah.
right here, this baby right here.
Yeah. There was a post that was posted with it could be what the Avata 2?
Yes,
Is
correct.
it is it really the Avata 2? Could it
Um,
be?
I would say it's completely different from, they show you this and then it'll look completely different when they launch it. But
I
like
mean,
you
like,
go
what are
ahead.
you expecting in specs on this thing from what it was before?
Hmm. Longer battery life,
Hmm.
one, which the Avata already has a decent battery life in comparison to the lipos that I use, but
Well, we
longer
already
battery
know you
life.
guys want better internal storage, which this has one of the better internal storages of
Yeah, yeah, the Avata is what, pushing 20 gigs for internal storage.
Mhm.
The original Avata, but what you pointed out right here, Herman, the sides are
Mhm.
closed in. That
Mhm.
open frame is no more. And of course, I looked at it closer. The battery will still be put in through the rear. I don't know what this is. This looks like some kind of mounting system.
Mhm.
Maybe they want to
A
add a
mounting system.
I don't know. I don't know. Usually the GPS is in the front behind the camera here.
Uh-huh.
I have no idea, but with these two screws, I would assume you could probably
Is
mount
it
something to
screws?
it. Yeah, they're too tiny to be sensors.
Okay.
Yeah, they're definitely too tiny to be sensors. But here I'm noticing sensor. We'll have to see it. I'm not even going to say nothing about it because I'm still waiting for the Air 3S to come out.
Here we go.
Yeah, but
Will
I
it
know
be will it be a 3S or would it be something else or
a
like
Mavic 4.
well no, I mean, are we ready for a Mavic 4? Do we need a Mavic 4?
We don't, but we didn't need a Nevada 2 either. We didn't need another set of DJI goggles either.
I I hear you. I hear you. I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. That makes
Hey,
sense.
Uncle Bill. Hey, Lance.
I hear you on that. But I don't know. Did we? I don't know the guys that fly this thing. They've gotten what? Well, a couple of motion controllers have come out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Couple of sets of goggles. This
Yeah.
came out with the second set, right? Run the second set, right? So I
Yep.
mean,
This is these are the
I don't,
Integra
I don't know. I
2.0s.
don't think that. How long has the Avata been out?
Um, I couldn't tell you, but I could find it, the
Not that.
information.
It's been out a little bit, right? I mean, I don't know.
The Avata launch date was May 25th, 2023. Oh no, stop. That's totally incorrect.
What?
When was the Avata released? In summer of 22.
22.
Summer of 22, yes. So that we're going
I
on two
mean,
years
I
old.
don't think guys are really bored with the drone, are they?
No, because people are still buying them.
So I mean,
Hey, John Coopy.
I don't know. I'm not saying that we shouldn't have one.
Yes,
Uh,
he will, John Coopy.
I just believe that you could be right on it, not needing it. I mean, it could have rocked for one more year. But
I yeah,
honestly, I understand if they come out with another one, and if they do, they should get this thing out there now because we're getting into that springtime here in the States. I don't well, I can speak for the United States. I can't speak for the rest of the world. But we're getting into that springtime, and this would be a great time for guys to get out and use it. The spring, summer is coming. You don't want it to drop in September.
true, true, true. Or else it would be a very boring summer. But I don't think so because people are still going out
Because
there
guys
buying
are
it.
still enjoying the other one.
They're still going out buying the Air 3. I know Angel, he's flying out of Rockaway on beach
What's
night
good,
while
John
listening to the
Coopy?
live stream with his Air 3. And to be honest, I'm still happy with my Air 2S.
Okay.
That one inch sensor. In fact, I'm taking that to Florida and leaving my Mavic 3 here because I figure if I do do anything at night, it'll probably be just taking pictures. So the Air 3 is more than sufficient. I want to take some FPV stuff down, maybe about 3 FPV birds with me, a shitload of batteries. FYI, if you're traveling as an FPV pilot, and I'm looking into the camera and telling you this, don't stack your batteries deep down in the bag because the airport is going to make you take every battery out like they did me and sniff it with some device to see if it's bomb equipment or plastic explosives or something. And then they're going to, after they take all your batteries out and leave them on the table, then say, okay, you can go put all that stuff away. So if you're traveling with FPV batteries, not only do they have to be at their lowest charge, but be prepared to have each and every one of them sniffed like they did mine, which was also a pain in the behind. But and this is after you go through the check through. You remember, Herman? You were through, but you were waiting for me to put my shit away. They opened my bag up, took all my FPV batteries out,
I
tossed
was just glad that they was harassing somebody else other than me.
Gary says he's just bringing his Air 2S. He's leaving his EXO Mini Pro at home.
Thank you.
Okay. And let's hope nothing goes into the drink this year. It seems that the drones seem at just Jensen Beach every other year or whenever. When we were there, a drone dropped into the water, right? So let's hope none of that happens. To be honest.
Yeah, something like that did happen. What? Big Matt at Big Big, Big Matt in the chat.
Yeah, he's here.
Okay.
He's here. He's here listening to the stream. Yeah, FPVs look scary on X-ray fully charged. Newark Airport always got me and did a bomb swab. Yeah, they rubbed this chemical on,
What
and
happened?
the machine is like.
What
So
happened?
John Coopy's saying the same thing at Newark Airport. They get him too. They do the bomb swab because
Yo,
they look like plastic explosives.
yo, Newark handled me horribly, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really trashed me out.
Or make you walk back and forth through the metal detector several times.
Nah.
What?
Nah, nah.
What
You
happened?
know, you know the strings on sweatpants, right?
Yeah.
He said to me that the metal tabs on on the string show in the on the, what do you call it, as an anomaly.
Really?
Like, okay, so you notice the metal, the string, the little caps on the string, right? So I'm showing it to him. So he goes, so we got to search you. I was like, because of the string? I was like, hold up, whoa, wait a minute. So they try to give you that karate chop to the nuts kind of thing to make sure you don't got nothing in
Oh,
your groin. It. Then they want to kind of rifle around inside. I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Inside your
wow.
pants, like he's tucking your shirt in or something. You know what I mean? It's they can get real disgusting over it. And then when you complain about it, they want to swab your hands like he was playing with explosives and stuff.
John Coopy says he once told TSA that he had so many because you only get 3 to 4 minutes per flight. The agent had his own camera drone and was surprised he had never seen an FPV drone before, but it was 2016. So you must have looked like a mad scientist going through there with a bunch of plastic explosives. Yeah.
But they pulled all your stuff out and then told you, all right,
Yeah, yeah. After they pull all my batteries out and toss them on the table, okay, you can put it away and leave.
go ahead and get your stuff.
Koopy says he was never cavity checked over batteries. They did a hand swab, but that was it. Oh, I didn't get the hand swab, so let me stay quiet. I don't want it this time.
Man,
Make sure you're not touching plastic explosives. I get it. I get it. Could you
baby
imagine,
on that
Herman?
shit.
They swabbed that shit on my hands, and all of a sudden my hands turn blue.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because
I don't know about you. I'm heading to the gate.
oh, now he don't know nobody. See how we do? Now he don't know nobody.
Because
Wow.
I'm gonna have the same questions that they're gonna have. How your hands turn blue, yo?
Yeah, right.
What you,
Hands turn blue. I don't know,
what you
something.
was doing?
Hey, Steven, flyby guys. What's up, man? Hope
What's
all
up,
is well.
Steven? I'm like, yo, Lawrence, what you was doing?
Nothing. It was that taco I ate before I got on the plane. Turned my hands blue.
Because while TSA is tackling you, right?
You're walking to the gate, talking about start the plane, start the plane. Yeah, I know. I know. I know how it's going down. It's okay.
No, I'm just saying. No, I'm saying I'm not gonna do like like some of the morons out there and just be like, stop resisting. Stop.
When they say stop,
As they're trying to smack your head off the concrete a
when
couple
they
of
say
times.
stop
And
resisting, you know the
people tell
taser.
you, oh, stop resisting.
You know when they tell you stop resisting, the taser's coming out next, right?
No, no, no. No, no, no. I'm talking about you got people who will be on the side, right? So-called innocent bystanders. They'll be telling you to stop resisting while they're smacking your head off the concrete a couple of times. And telling you, no, just stop fighting them.
You see the SJM put media, airport security. I had to take all my electronics out, drone cameras, etc. Security pulled out a pair of hair straighteners and said to me, "Are these yours?" Because he's as bald as that's messed up. You guys have to be good to one another. You might hit the lottery. Listen, you're right. You're right about that. Hey, Herman, we got 5 minutes. I'm gonna show this video, man, that you did. You showed a video that I did at this site.
I did a video.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So for those of you who don't know, we
Oh,
we've
that
been
video.
we were working at this site.
Uh-huh.
We were doing some work here, and last week I think Herman had showed my video. I had edited and
A couple
flew.
weeks ago.
Oh, it was a couple of weeks ago. And this week, Herman, we got permission to post a video and figured we'd show it to you guys because we don't get a chance to talk or brag about a lot of stuff that we do. But when we do
Show the
get a chance,
video.
we like to show it. So here you go.
Uh-oh. What
What
happened?
happened? What the hell happened?
I don't know. You broke it.
I couldn't have broke it. It's saying pause here. Hold on, let me start it over. What the hell happened?
You broke the video. Oh, I got
No,
Ryan
it's my
coming.
computer locking up on me again.
Oh boy.
There you go. Now you want to play? When I take you off Zoom, now
Well,
you
here's, well, here's what I want to do.
go ahead. Bring Ryan in while I play the video.
I'm gonna bring Ryan in while you play the video.
There you go. That's it. That
Really?
I hope it played okay. Of course, there's a little hesitation, but you watch the replay over, it'll play
Hello,
smoothly.
Ryan.
Hey, there we go.
And how are you doing?
Change that up a little bit. How are you?
Well,
Hey,
good,
what's up,
good,
Ryan?
good. We're hanging in there. Can't complain too much. Trying to survive over here.
I'm just
So
trying
how-
to check, see if I've got latest updates for you.
Oh, well,
Okay. Well, that's good because someone has a question already about St. Louis. So we'll get into that a little later on.
oh, St. Louis.
Yes.
St.
Yes.
Louis.
What's happening in the drone? What's happening in St. Louis?
Well, what I wanted to ask Ryan about, well, first off, before we get into anything, Ryan, I mean, I know a lot of the people who are here know who you are, but could you please tell everyone who you are and what it
Sure.
is? So that way they
So,
know, they familiarize themselves again.
I'm gonna say I do this often, right? But my name is Ryan Latourette, and I'm a drone pilot here in Michigan. Um, I am the director of regulatory affairs for the Great Lakes Drone Company, and founder of a founding member of the MCDO, Michigan Coalition of Drone Operators.
Mhm.
I try to help out pilots across the nation with drone legal concerns, and I try to be a drone regulations expert. So I get called to testify in cases, consult on cases, and keep pace with the current drone laws, regulations, ordinances, everything that's under the sun regarding drone operations in the legal world.
Okay. So we had spoke via text the other day, and I was asking you a couple things, and you had mentioned to me about this big win in South Dakota. Right, like this bill was passed. One's bill, Senate bill, was it 169? And
169.
what is it? What's that mean?
So yeah, here's the beautiful thing of it. I think you know, and Lawrence knows, I had a birthday not too long ago. March 6th was my
Mhm.
birthday. And South Dakota delivered me a birthday present. On
Really?
March 6th, they passed and signed into law a state preemption clause. And their preemption clause disallows any local governments from creating or enforcing their own drone ordinances.
Nice.
Absolutely. And the fantastic thing was that this was pushed through by the AUVSI. AUVSI has been in our corner as drone operators for a very long time. They've recently come around to the idea that, yes, we do need to chase preemption. They're actually the ones that are pushing for it in the state of New York as well. So it's glad to see that they're having success and able to get this through in South Dakota, which honestly, that's a kind of a surprise state, isn't it? That you'd think out there, maybe they have their own little things with shotguns and what have you. They chose
Right.
I
they
don't know.
chose
I
the
mean,
right direction. Let's put it that way.
New York seems to be a state that is going to be a little tough because what I don't understand is that with New York State having, or New York having the laws that they have, whereas that when a law or bill was proposed to be able to cite helicopter companies for noise pollution, the governor was quick to say that they have no jurisdiction to legislate in that area.
Right.
But yet when it came to drones, they allowed the mayor to be able to legislate whatever it was that he wanted. And I
Well,
thought,
yes and no. So same concept, right? That they understand their legislation is land based. So the moment you step outside the jurisdiction of New York City, right, you're right outside the border. They have no jurisdiction over overflight whatsoever. Yeah, so yeah, I think New York understands that even with helicopters that hey, noise pollution, they're in the sky now. Noise pollution at a airport or heliport, that's a different story. But I think
Right.
you get into some interesting conversations along those lines, and that how noisy can it be when you're taking off and landing? Is it such that you've designated a specific location with the understanding that yes, this can be noisy at this particular location, and it should be. Drones. What's the loudest drone you've heard? Probably no more than a lawnmower.
if that.
Yeah, the 3DR
Yeah.
Solo. Sound like you were starting up your lawnmower when that
Yep.
drone started up.
Most
The
of them
flying brick,
are 70 decibels or less.
the
So
flying
you think
brick, we
about
used
that,
to
it's the
call it.
lawnmower.
Quick question, Ryan. I don't know how familiar you are with this case, but John Coopy wants to know, what are your thoughts on the St. Louis, Missouri's recent reaction to SMS novel films, where the city has specially crafted drone ordinance to target commercial users? Are you familiar with that?
I'm not familiar with that one, but here's what I will lay out as a guess. My guess would be that the ordinance, whatever that they've come up with in terms of targeting commercial use, is actually looking at filming permits. New York City does this as well, right? So
Yeah.
a lot of people want to film in New York City. There's great, visuals that can go on to a commercial film. And so you have to put forward a permit fee in order to fly commercially inside the city.
Yes.
You can see that at lots of other places. The New York, or I won't even say New York. Let's go national parks, right? National parks. You want to take your camera and film, that's fine as a recreational, shoot whatever film you want, right? But the moment you're talking about commercial, then NPS is going to say, hey, wait a minute, you have to give us a permit fee, and you have to be approved for this, so forth. So I suspect that's exactly what's happening with St. Louis.
Well, what
It's
he's
just
saying
like what they
is
did here.
Missouri has no state-based preemption law, he says,
Right.
and he's aware personally of regulations that step on FAA regulations. St. Louis says they crafted carefully to not violate FAA, though.
Yeah,
like
so
New
you
York.
can do that, right?
Here.
Like New York.
Just like they did here.
Like New York.
Use that land use ordinance, right, to say can't launch, land, or operate from within our boundaries.
Right, without permit.
Right. So and really that's the whole point that South Dakota got, right, is that they said we want to be able to have commercial and recreational operators feel free to use a drone within our state, and we want them to tie under one specific rule that's at the state level. And so that's where they did away with all those patchwork quilt of local legislations. It's the right way to go. Every state should do it. This now makes what, 19. We used to be at 17 just a couple of years ago. Now we've added 2 more. So we're moving in the right direction.
Need to get some more.
Absolutely. New York.
When are they headed this way?
Yeah, we're seriously struggling here.
So yeah, we still have that bill. It's still going through the House. I think this helps, right? Is that we have yet another example that we can put forward to them to say, hey, South Dakota just did this. You can do this too. Pennsylvania, right next door, already has it. New Jersey already has it. So, all these examples help in terms of the lobbying effort. And I will say, that AUVSI is one of the big lobbyists that are promoting this bill in New York State. They were the ones who got this to go through in South Dakota. So, I'm hopeful. I've really got some angst about how long it's taken, but I'm hopeful that this is going to happen very soon.
Okay.
All right. Well, he believes they crafted this to target one user. He sent the link. John Coopy's saying he sent the link to you on Facebook, so you could be abreast of what's going on. And FYI, guys out there, if there's an incident that Ryan is only human. He cannot sense a drone, illegal drone act going on in one state from another state. There are some things that he doesn't hear about or find out about. So if there's something that you want to ask a question, see if you can send him a link and make him abreast of it. See if he knows about it.
Reach out. That's the
first. John Olson says, thanks, I'm taking pictures of warehouse. I'm doing this on my own after their work hours. I appreciate that, John.
What happened?
John was saying he wants to do videos like ours, construction videos. Well, John, that's actually a good way to do it. And it's by after hours at sites, taking pictures of construction sites, to get the practice in. I don't know if you have your 107 or plan on doing so, but it'd be advisable that you have your 107 while you're doing this. So you could say, I'm just getting into practice if someone confronts you.
Well, also, the thing is with construction sites.
Yes.
To operate there, they're gonna ask. This is why it's best to do it when nobody's there. They want somebody they're gonna operate there to have. If you're gonna fly over their site, they want you to have insurance.
$2 million worth of insurance.
They're gonna want you to have proof of that. There's a whole lot of.
Yeah. So
if you're gonna be on the site, then you gotta have OSHA certification.
Yes.
That's here. I don't know about anywhere else.
Well, John's here in New York with us, but I take it, hey, Johnny Dronefly, I take it he's Herman and Ryan, he's just trying to get the experience of shooting construction sites, in which case you can kind of get away with it and say, I'm a recreational flyer, but I'm a Part 107, but I'm flying recreationally to get practice in. If that sounds right, Ryan? If he was confronted or something, I mean, he's not really doing. Go ahead. I see you grimacing. Let it out. Come on. Let them know
your challenge is going to be that recreational has to be purely for enjoyment.
Yeah.
So that's where the FAA is drawing the lines. Purely for enjoyment, that's intent. And the moment you get away from purely enjoyment, hey, I'm trying to build a portfolio. Oh, that's not purely enjoyment.
I know.
I'm enjoying building my portfolio.
Now take a vacation day and you're gonna go film construction site. Honestly, there are people that would do that, right?
Yeah.
So
that's
pure enjoyment. I can
hear that, John?
Gravitate towards that.
Wink.
Yeah. I mean, think about that. Here this weekend, we're going to have a demolition of a power plant, right? You're going to get to see the smokestacks come falling down, what have you. That to me, that's an opportunity to go out and have some absolute fun. I'm busy. I'm not going to be there, but wow, what a chance to get some really fun footage. And hey, if you're thinking that's practice for something, all right, but it better be first and foremost fun. Now you're going to fly recreationally, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I want to point out something. First of all, depending on what state you're in, you may not be allowed to fly. I know when they were doing demolition on the Kosciuszko Bridge here in New York, they made it very clear it was a no-fly zone. They were blasting. They had news helicopters in the area to record. Okay, and we just happened to be able to record it from the car as it was going down. We were driving by and we heard this big boom, and I turn and look and you see the bridge going down. But it's not easy. Be careful. It depends on what state you're in, and etc.
Yeah, you always want to look for a no-fly zone because the FAA does grant them for such things as long as they've been requested. The other concern that I would put forward, and having worked with some pilots who really get into demolition filming, your signal can be the signal to detonate the item. So you want to make sure that you're going to be in cooperation and not a problem for that event.
True. That is true. That is true.
Imagine that.
Just take that in mind. Take that into consideration. When flying construction site, or you hear that they're doing demolition somewhere. And the main reason they had a no-fly zone was because of the simple fact they knew here in New York, bridge being blown up, they're advertising in the morning news, people are charging their batteries as they're driving down the block, and if you got there was a no-fly zone. But people did get footage. People did get footage illegally, I must say.
Did they?
Because it was a no-fly zone.
How did they get the footage?
Because they were inside that no-fly zone. And I'll leave it at that. But so
really,
Big Matt's listening and working. We appreciate you.
Better to fly outside of it and zoom in.
Yeah, this is true also. This is very, very true.
No, but you know what is the big thing, and it's been the big thing for the last, I don't know, a few years. And there was an adjournment, and I guess now it's coming back this weekend. Remote ID is this weekend. Starts this weekend. What does that mean for everyone?
Yeah, boy, can you believe it? We've been talking remote ID now for years, right? It's been incredible. It was proposed. Boy, I'd be going back. I want to say it was proposed back in 2001, and NPRM went through, and then we had an initial date for manufacturers to be compliant coming in 2022, December of 2022. That date actually got pushed from September of 2022 to December. Then we got forward into last year. We were supposed to have everything in place for December of 2023. And I gotta even think about this. It was September of 2023. And then FAA finally at the last moment pushed things back and said, all right, we are going to allow remote ID to take place and be in effect, but we will have a period of time, 6 months time, where it will be selective in terms of enforcement. We want you to have remote ID in place and operating, but if you have a module that's on order, you're waiting on firmware to be provided by the manufacturer. If those are the cases, then we are going to push off enforcement until March 16th of 2024. So we are butt up against that now, right? That we have no choice. Remote ID is coming. It's in place. I think right now, if you have not yet ordered a module for your drone and your drone is not compliant, you need to do that. If you're you're planning to fly, Monday morning, and you want to get some footage, and you don't have remote ID, it's probably a time to rethink your strategy on that.
Well, Ryan, I wanted to ask you about that. Like, well, for the guys that might be confused, if there's any way that you could tell them, like, how can they be compliant for the people who are not sure?
Yeah. So first and foremost, I would say, number one, you want to make sure that you have the latest and greatest firmware on your drone. So I had somebody today reach out, hey, am I going to be compliant with remote ID? I haven't used my drone in a year. Well, that's right there. That's a problem, right? You haven't used your drone. You want to make sure that you are up to date with your firmware. And chances are, if you've got a more recent drone, it's probably going to be compliant once you get the firmware on there. Not 100% certain, but that's a good start. The next piece is that the FAA does provide a list of all the drones that are RID compliant. So you can search FAA RID compliant, and it will show you all those that have been approved on a list, and you can match that up to your specific model of drone. There are some drones that aren't going to be compliant and don't need to be compliant unless you have certain circumstances. So if you have let's say you got a DJI Mini 2, right? You are under 0.55 pounds. Some people call it the sub 250 drone, right? If you're flying that recreationally, you do not need remote ID. So you are good to go. Have fun, fly that drone at will. However, if you are Part 107 and you want to fly your Mini 2, it does not have remote ID. It is not getting a remote ID from DJI. And so you would not be in compliance. It doesn't matter the weight when you're Part 107, you must have remote ID. So you're going to need to have a module added to the drone. I think one of the nice things that just happened here, gosh, it's been this week, I believe. Drone Tag just came out with a new product. It is 5 grams. It's literally nothing almost. It has its own little battery, own little LiPo that goes on. You can quickly throw that on your sub 250 drone and still try to keep it under the 0.55 pounds. And maybe that means getting some sandpaper out and smoothing off some of the plastic. But that could be a way to get that Mini 2 compliant, right? There's other ways where you can grab Japanese batteries are half the weight. Of course, they're half the flight time too. But some of those ways can get those weights down that you can then add a module. Now, the new module that I saw, they call it the BS2. There's a particular reason why they said BS. That's the way they feel about remote ID. But it's I think they BS2. Put it at an introductory price of $90, right?
Look out.
Well, that's good in comparison, considering the original Drone Tag was anywhere from $220 to about $330.
What?
Yeah,
depending on where you got it from.
But you heard what he said about the name of it?
Yeah. Actually, I think Ken Herron had got his hands on one of these. I'm looking at it right now.
Probably.
And he said there's a BS in it for a reason, because the parameter that it transmits is so small, it's BS.
Here it is, the epic BS.
Yeah, this is the module right here.
That's cool.
And a dual antenna, FPV, like you said, 5 grams. The epic BS, it says it right here in the specs. I'll put the link in the chat so you guys can check it. It's smaller than a Coca-Cola bottle cap.
Well, Ryan, you know what I want to ask you about remote ID? And this is the thing that everybody is in the back of everyone's head. What is the enforcement going to be like if I'm not compliant?
Yeah, well, that's kind of the interesting piece. right now, what I think is going to happen, right, is every police department in the nation is going to have folks out that they know something needs to be compliant. They know that they are supposed to be able to scan and find something in the sky. So really, they go and they see a drone. Now they're going to see, oh, can I look this up on my app and see what's happening with it? Well, we already delineated if it's a sub 250 drone, I don't have to have a remote ID if I'm flying recreationally. So now I'm, as an officer, I'm coming up to you and I'm saying, hey, I don't see that on my system. You must not have remote ID. Well, suddenly we've got an argument already, right? I'm flying legally. He thinks I'm not because he's been told all drones have to have remote ID, which isn't true. So I think there's going to be some of that to start, right? And it'll be, hey, isn't that drone supposed to have remote ID? Oh, well, no, this is under, the specs, under the weight. And police aren't going to know. And they aren't going to be carrying scales with them. So
no, they're not. They're not.
That's going to be a challenge for them. I think the other piece will be self-enforcement, right? Hey, are you remote ID? Now, one of the pieces of remote ID that's important to consider is if your drone is supposed to have remote ID. So let's say you've got a Mavic 3. If you try to launch that and remote ID is not working, that drone is a paperweight. It's done. It will not spin up the propellers.
Non-compliant.
Right. So
yeah, you're considered non-compliant. I understand.
The moment that it determines, hey, my remote ID is not working, it's done. Now, what I think we have yet to see, which I'm kind of interested to see, what happens when we have a failure of that remote ID equipment while it's in the air. Oops.
Well, I don't think that would happen because it's, well, you mean the modules or the software inside the drone itself?
Well, yeah. So I'm thinking
when it stops transmitting
so it stops transmitting when you're in the sky, right? It's prevented you from flying. If it was on the ground before you started the motors, if remote ID was not working, it shuts the motors. It's not going to allow you to crank things up. But if it's in flight, supposedly it's supposed to still be operation. You still be able to fly. But as a pilot, you are supposed to bring that thing down because remote ID is not working. But I have not yet seen it tested. I want to test it, right? Is put a drone in the sky, force that module to fail. And what's it going to do? Is it going to fall like a stone, or am I going to actually be able to control it?
I don't think so. I don't think it'll fall like a stone, because it's funny, because I had this kind of similar debate with a guy actually from DJI about your phone or tablet battery dying. He said that the drone would lose power. I was like, how would it lose power? The drone has a battery in it.
Right, that's not true.
The drone, the connection to the drone is the connection to the controller.
Johnny Dronefly says, how would you know if it's not working? And that's exactly it, Johnny. You may not know.
Right, it would probably just give you an error message on your screen.
Yes, the error message would come up and says remote ID error.
Right, but I don't know if the drone would cease to work.
Technically, it shouldn't, but I have not yet tested that. I want to test it and find out.
Because someone else is positive there's the relay
on someone else's drone.
Right.
No, I don't think it would stop, because listen, I don't.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm
going to test it. I'm going to find it.
The drones lose signal all the time.
That's true. Someone asked a question real quick. If I fly my drone around unregistered, will the Fed show up at my door now?
Now?
Well,
if your drone is unregistered, you're broadcasting. They have the frequency, they have the number, they can contact DJI and say, look, we have a registered drone under your name with this serial number. Who's the owner? Plain and if they went to that point.
I'll give you an example of something
registered.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'll give you an example of something that happened to me recently, right? I was down in Detroit flying, and there was a drone light show downtown Detroit. Of course, it was advertised widely. So there were tons of drones in the sky to film this drone light show.
Mhm.
When I went back to the Michigan State police officer who was there monitoring the event, he was able to show here were all the drones that were in the sky, where they were at any given time, where their operators were,
were they registered or not,
whether the aircraft was registered or not. You could see all of that data, right? So police officers do have that. They are able to track that and know how they're going to operate, right? Is if you have your drone in the sky, let's say it's remote ID compliant, right? But you haven't registered. If you're doing something wrong, they're going to stop you. They know where to find you, right? Remote ID is pinpointed your location. They can come right over to you. Probably one of the first things out of their mouth, is it registered? Yep. Oh, well, it's not registered. Well, now that's a problem. If it is registered, now it's, well, you're flying Part 107. Oh, no, I don't have my Part 107. Okay, what's your CBL, right? And they're going to go through all these questions to pin you down on what you are doing right versus what you're doing wrong. And if you're doing something wrong, you don't have it registered, you're not flying according to CBO's safety guidelines, at that point, they've got a couple different options, right? One, if it's imminent danger to somebody, you're probably going to end up in the back end of a police car, right? Because there's other laws, not just aviation laws, that you have to worry about if you're going to potentially hurt somebody. The other would be they could confiscate the drone to be able to collect information off of it to send to the FAA, get the flight logs, etc. Or they could, take down your name, contact information, information about the drone, and forward that to the FAA for enforcement actions. If the concern is large enough, look for them to invoke the local prosecutor. If it's even more concerning than that, don't be surprised they reach out to the Department of Justice. You could be looking at federal charges.
Wow, just for flying the drone.
So what you're saying is you can go out there if you want and say, I'm a recreational pilot and my drone isn't registered, and it's not as easy as it used to be, where you could get away with that at one time.
Run.
A great example of that is Philly Mike, right? Yes. Mikey over in Philadelphia. So Mikey is a recreational pilot.
Repeat offender,
flying in Class B airspace without airspace authorization, flying above the Lance grids, some dangerous flights, right? All around. And yet, despite multiple contacts, he still did it. FAA slapped him with a $182,000 fine, right? And basically the next day that he goes on to his show and he says, screw the FAA, I'm going to keep doing this. Well, now they filed suit and it's in federal court. They are seeking an injunction against him. That injunction is such that if he flies and he's contrary to safety guidelines of a CBO, he doesn't follow any of the rules, right? Then he's done. They will. They have some very dangerous things that he's playing with that could get him in much more serious trouble. But inevitably, if they get the injunction, I don't think he's going to be flying, period.
It's pretty bad if you can't fly in your own state.
Well, I don't know. I'm not. I'm
I
not.
wish him. I wish him luck in his ventures. I wish
I'm not
him
trying to sit in federal
tourism,
prison
but
flying a drone.
I wish him no harm, etc. You know, I hope things work out. But $182,000, and a YouTube video with letters flapping like this and tossing them in the garbage and saying, "What are you going to do? Come take it from me," is not good.
Well, I mean, I don't want it to be a let's bash on
No,
Mike.
no, we're not. We're not.
I'm just saying to you. I just think that
I agree.
it's crazy that it came to that.
You're right.
Yeah, I
You
think
want
the concern is previously we saw the FAA in a educational mode, right?
Mhm.
So if you were
Yeah.
doing something wrong, they're going to send you a letter. Then if you were doing something wrong, you might get a call from the FSDO. Well, now Congress has kind of said to the FAA, yeah, we're done with education. Let's talk enforcement. So
Mhm.
we are seeing more enforcement.
Everyone's had enough warning. They've been saying they're going to crack down. A lot of stuff that's going on around certain cities is going to stop, and eventually will. When I started flying 6, 7 years ago, maybe even 8, it could be. There are places and footage that I have that you cannot fly there anymore. We used to be able to go to Governor's Island here in New York, take the ferry across to Governor's Island, and fly to the Statue of Liberty. As long as we didn't fly over the property of the Statue of Liberty, we could hang out over the water and take pictures. Now you can't even fly from places like Governor's Island, and the Statue of Liberty has a border with buoys around it. You're not supposed to pass those buoys, but due to DJI and that zoom feature, you can be a lot further away and still get the same shot.
Yeah.
Fortunately.
Yeah. Now you got guys counting those hairs on the statue.
Yeah, true. This is true.
Ryan, what I want to ask you is, because I believe I understand it, and Lawrence and I did a whole thing on it. But how are government agencies learning how to skirt this DJI ban?
Yeah. So, well, one, let's talk about there's two different bans, right? One is in place currently, the other one's in the House right now. So
they're trying to pass.
That they are trying to pass. So the first one is it's in place currently. And what that ban is that saying to federal agencies or any government agencies that use federal dollars, you are banned from buying a DJI drone, or you are prohibited from utilizing a DJI drone in the future, right? Now, that legislation has kind of all kinds of loopholes into it, and they were specifically built in. You can get a waiver, right, on those things. You can write to say, hey, look, we need to use this DJI drone because XYZ. And a lot of that is, hey, we have it. You know, we don't have any budget for anything else. We absolutely need it. It's life-saving. So those particular types of waivers are written all the time to aid and make sure that a DJI drone can be used by those federal agencies or government agencies using federal dollars.
Right.
The other thing that they're trying to do now and skirt the regulations is, look, DJI is just the shell, right? So the internal mechanisms, that's what is really making it DJI versus something else. So a lot of governments now are saying, look, the whole concern is that information from this drone is potentially going out on a server to the CCP. We don't want to do that. So let's change the circuitry such that it cannot exit out, right? Nothing's going to be shared. And so, you know, they're having the electrical engineers go in and take a look. Hey, let's pull this part, this chip, let's replace it with this American chip, and the readdress of that such that it's still a DJI drone. It's just the internals are American, right? And at that point, does it make a difference? No, because from a manufacturing standpoint, it's not a DJI drone any longer and is no longer under the ban. So it's a great way to skirt It really is. The functionality still the same, right? It's still DJI. It's still rock solid. It's not like Skydio, which is I want to say Skydio is a dump truck in the sky. It's all over the place.
Yeah. Well, what I wanted to ask you is this: does that void my carry fresh or my warranty?
Yeah. Kiss that warranty goodbye.
Because we did a story on police departments in Texas, and what they were doing is third party software collection,
like Lychee or some other
a lot of
third party.
like people doing like third party collection of the data. So is that DJI is not collecting data. I mean, also with no internet connection I guess that's the main issue, right? And is internet connection necessary for remote ID? I mean,
no, not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. Yet being the key word.
See, and that's where the issue comes back again.
Well, yeah, don't anticipate that for quite a while, right? So when remote ID first came out, the FAA proposed, hey, look, we absolutely want everything to be internet connected. And the community as a whole spoke and said, that's great, fine and dandy. But if I'm in upper peninsula of Michigan, there's no cell service.
True.
If I'm in Alaska, yeah, good luck with that, right? And so the FAA kind of went, oh, yeah, you're right. There's too many places that do not yet have internet access, rural communities that do not have internet access. We can't place this as an enforcement action at this point. And so they relented. They said, we're going to pull this from the remote ID requirements until such time, and this was the key, right? Until such time that it can be readily available. So that's going to come back around. But are we talking this year, next year? No, we're talking several years into the future.
Not for a while, because
let me ask you this. Okay,
go ahead. Go ahead.
What I wanted to ask you, don't you think that because it's only the United States government that's barking, but don't you think that they should come up with like a standard for what drones should be made, and that was what they will allow into their country, and then maybe that these manufacturers will make drones that will be allowed to be in the country. Like if you made a drone that didn't have that such feature where that was going to happen, then maybe they'd probably allow it, but it is, and there's no standard to how these things are made. You know, they throw in whatever feature they want.
Right now, there's no standard. We're still in exploratory stages.
See what I'm saying?
Think about it. All of this is new within the last 10 years.
But go the other direction too, and imagine this. Can you imagine the U.S. government saying all cars manufactured anywhere in the world have to have V8 engines?
Well,
it's possible,
right, to be sold in the United States.
But there are standards for what they all have to have.
Somewhat, yeah. So, like, all right, you must have seat belts installed in the car, right? In order to be sold in the United States. There are countries around the world that don't have seatbelt requirements. So those, in order to be imported, right, they have to have seatbelts. Those could be post-manufacture, right? So after they come off the assembly line, you have another importer that's, hey, I'm going to make this compliant with the regulations for this particular country.
Safety standards that are why other vehicles that are manufactured in other countries you don't see here in the States.
Yeah, and we see this in drones, right? So for the longest time, you would have people saying, hey, wait a minute, why does DJI create a drone that has 7 miles, 14 miles of range? It's not legal in the United States. Well, hey, folks, DJI is a global company. They're creating it for a global market. So you go to what other country, you can fly beyond line of sight, no problem. So it's important to have those features and be available, but lock them down into the
True.
country
Other
that
countries,
they don't
you can
want
also,
to do that.
other countries, you can also fly above 1,000 feet as well.
Right.
You know, but here in the city, that 7 mile capability has to do more with penetration,
And
passing
that's
through and
always
around
been,
buildings and
but
subjects.
that's always been the case.
Yeah.
That's
I
always
think
been
you
the case because the drone was supposed to have been flown in the line of sight.
and if you take your drone 7 miles, it's a one-way trip.
Well, and note that hadn't always been the case for the United States either. So if we go back in time, right, to prior to 107, flying within line of sight was not required. So
True.
part 101 and what section 333,
Mhm.
you didn't have to fly a line of sight. So I had my
I hear what you're
a
saying.
picture float up on my calendar here not too long ago, and it was something that was done 10 years ago.
Mhm.
It was by a DJI Phantom 1.
Okay.
And I had the Phantom 1. You had to hang a GoPro off of it.
Yeah, I remember.
You could not see what the GoPro was seeing because the moment you turned the GoPro on, it would interact and mess up the controls of the Phantom. So you kind of position that GoPro, hey, I think I'm going to turn it this way and set it on to record or pictures or whatever, and then launch. And you got about 7 minutes of flight time if you were lucky.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, wow.
You compare that to a Phantom 4 battery or
Right.
You know how many guys wouldn't be able to fly that because they hover and hover and hover. Oh, that's it, battery done.
That's
Yeah, and there's no return to home either. You saw the red lights. You better be landing.
Wow. That's
Bring it
funny.
back. Bring it back. Bring it back. Bring it back. Bring it back. No, but you know what, Lawrence? I wanted to squeeze in if we had time here. The Nanook, right? There's 10% off on Nanook products. If you're interested in hard cases for your drones, there's or any other products you might have if you if you collect guns, I don't know, firearms, if that's your thing. They make hard cases for firearms. So feel free to check out that in the description below, and you could snatch one of those up and if you need it, there's a coupon, like I said, the coupon code in there, Phantom Flight 10% off on all your Nanook products. Yeah, I just had to
There you
squeeze
go.
that in.
Oh, wait a minute. You know what?
Yeah.
I thought about something really quick. Let me just come back on camera with this. And here's something. I'm going to make it a little more interesting. If you do, let me come back on camera. If you do order a Nano case from them, let us know. Show us proof you do. I'll give you a lock for it. I'll give you a Nano lock for your case. Right there. I'll bring it down to South Florida Drone Meetup. Maybe I'll give it away if no one. We shall see.
I actually like those TSA locks for the Nano.
As someone said, emergencies may need beyond visual line of sight. It's a very strong possibility. That's why they're working so hard to make it so you could fly beyond visual line of sight without a spotter. And stationing a spotter every quarter of a mile does not count.
Really?
And I would say look for an NPRM that starts to allow beyond visual line of sight flight here within the next year.
Here in the States?
That's how fast it's coming.
Yeah.
Just wait.
Well, think about it. Technically, they're already doing it in some states where they're doing the deliveries from Walmart and Walgreens and those stores in the South. They are flying beyond visual line of sight, but for it to be international, I see what you're saying. Yeah, Herman.
No, I'm gonna finish it. I just wanted to ask a question. You finished?
Yeah, go for it.
You sure? So what's going on with that Palm Beach county court, Florida court case?
Well, I'm gonna have to say I had just checked my email here just before we came on to the show, so I'm gonna have to decline on that one. Other than to say this, this past week there was a group of drone operators in South Florida that had gone out and they were flying at a pier when they were approached by a Palm Beach County Sheriff's Department
Guys,
officer.
listen up.
And the statement was made, hey, you can't fly here. And they were looking at, hey, well, why is that? And the statement was provided that it was due to a local ordinance. Now, the local ordinance in this case was particular to aircraft. It was talking about not landing on the water, taking off from the water. Well, that's not drones, right?
Right.
So it was really intended for fixed wing aircraft, maybe the R-22 Robinson helicopters, etc. But it was not really intended for drones. The other issue is that Florida state law disallows local governments from creating or enforcing their drone ordinances. So Florida is a state preemptive state for drones. And because of that ordinance would not be applicable to drones, even if it had drones written into the ordinance. So these folks were challenging the officer on his interpretation of that ordinance. He stood sound and fast in his interpretation and disallowed the usage of drones at that location. And so I've taken that up to engage with the county, reaching out to the county sheriff. I've got communications going out to the board there, asking them to repeal the ordinance or at least make it such that it's very much known that this is not for drones, that there's an exemption for drones that's written into it. And so I expect that that's going to either happen or we'll see some type of movement. But there has been some communication going back and forth. So I think we're getting closer on this one. But beyond that, I don't want to jinx anything.
Okay. Well, Ryan, you know what I wanted to ask you about? Because I noticed, and I was talking with Lawrence about this, and in Michigan, right, the Taylor Police Department is supposed to be getting a robo dog to help fight crime.
Oh yeah.
And, what are they calling it? Rad dog?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a robo dog, and it's got a lot of features on it that's supposed to help them with fighting crime. So I mean, and we talked about this a lot of times here. Like, there he goes, and that they're looking for more weapons to fight crime that are less lethal. You can and these will, you can put this in there and not put a human or even a real dog in harm's way of where really dangerous situations, basically.
Absolutely. What a great use of technology, right?
Yeah.
But hey, let them shoot up a robot versus shoot up an officer coming in.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Fantastic.
At least until they put a taser on one.
Everybody's getting them. They have them here in New York. I see it in Los Angeles. I see it a lot of people are getting them. It started with, was it Boston Dynamics or whatever?
Yeah, Boston Dynamics has their version. That I have seen 2 or 3 other variations, but this one here seems to be the smallest. Boston Dynamics, theirs is pretty big from what I saw. The one they brought here to New York, at least.
Now, admit it, you want one in your house that can open the refrigerator door and bring a beer, right? Fetch me a beer.
Yeah, right.
That would be fantastic.
Or go get the mail.
Yeah.
You know, the only time that becomes a problem, when your dog starts getting him to get him stuff.
True. That is true.
And the both of you laying
beg
there
the
on the
robot
couch.
to do it for you, right?
Get the robot to get the biscuits.
I'm tired of chasing the ball. You do it. Now I can tell you, this is how much I'm into technology. I got a robo mower back when they were first
Really?
introduced. Yeah. So I
Oh,
looked
you
at it.
got
I
the
said, "Oh, wait a
1.0
minute!
version.
I got the original." Yeah.
Quick question. I remember when those lawnmowers came out, and there was a perimeter thing that you had to put these 4 posts at your perimeter, and it knew not to cross those lines.
So
Is yours
yeah,
that old?
older.
Wow.
Mine, you had to bury a cable around the perimeter of the property.
Oh, get out of here.
And when it got up to that cable, right,
Uh-huh.
then it would sense it and then it would turn around and come back.
Wow.
And I'll tell you what, I live on a 55 mile an hour highway, right?
Uh-huh.
I would have people that would stop alongside of the road to watch the stupid lawnmower back and forth. And I'm like, what are you doing? We've never seen anything like this.
Yeah. Yeah. That's funny. Well, the technology is getting to the point. We're not at the Jetsons yet. We do have flying cars, we have flying vehicles, we have jetpacks from the James Bond era, but none of it for the masses yet. And I'm actually glad, because half these people can't even drive on the road. How the hell are you going to drive in the air?
You know what? I don't want to see people in the air. Mm-mm. Lawrence is right. They can't handle the roads. I don't want to see these accidents from
Right. You're going to go from
100 to 200
two-dimensional
feet up in the sky.
from two-dimensional to four-dimensional. I mean, that's a two-dimensional. Walking on the street is hard for some people. Nonetheless, driving a car and then driving in the air where you can go up, down in any direction.
Can you imagine that? Some bum.
And we're seeing that with drones, right? I don't know if you've had it happen already, but I've had it happen twice now where Rogue Pilot has been beyond visual line of sight and nearly crashed into my drone. And it's like, wait, what are you doing? You know?
Yeah.
And the more drones are in the sky at an event that's pretty popular,
right,
that makes for a concern. And so I guess I'm anxious to see when UTM will come into place, so that we can spot, hey, there's 3 other operators in this vicinity. I want to have a chance to have that conversation with them.
I want to see a UTM in action as well, because it's going to be a highway. It's not going to be like the Fifth Element. We have thousands of levels of things passing in each direction. But when it does happen, you're going to know that's a drone corridor. Everyone's going to know, because they're going to see only, and you on the ground, we're supposed to be able to see it with ADBS, correct?
Well,
supposedly.
Yeah. When they have ADB installed, yeah.
Right, but we know they'll be able to see us, but they will have to make it, just like at one time we could not see planes and aircraft in the area, and now we can.
Well, yes and no. So understand that with ADB, it's only required if you are in controlled airspace.
Right.
And right now the FAA has said only between 40 and 60% are compliant with that.
Right.
So there's that challenge. The other is drones are specifically prohibited from having ADB. So right now planes cannot see you no matter what. And when we get UTM in place, there's that consideration of, all right, will the remote ID be used for ADB that would then allow aircraft, manned aircraft to see you? But if we take that to an nth
that's
degree,
where I think they're going.
Well, yeah, but take that to an nth degree. There are drones that are not required to have a remote ID, right? Those small drones.
Yeah.
That's not to say that those small drones are stuck to 100 feet, 200. No, they're up to 400 feet as well.
Right.
So are we going to get there fully? And is everybody going to be fully compliant? I don't see that for quite some time.
Well, what I wanted to say to you is that, talking about like what we're saying with the drones and them flying and not having remote ID, and them broadcasting what planes able to see, I there was a point at one time where there was, I think, a notice was put out asking pilots of manned aircraft, is this information important to them? And I think that the consensus was that if they saw on their screen every single drone that was flying hundreds of
They
feet
wouldn't fly.
below them, it would make their day just confusing.
Yeah.
They don't need to see drones that are not they're in their airspace, but they're hundreds of feet below where they're operating.
This is true, but you have to think about this also when you're talking about them seeing. The only time that they should be worried, and any aircraft should be worried about another aircraft, is transitioning from takeoff to landing. Like you have the buffer between helicopters that aren't supposed to fly below 500 feet unless transitioning to landing. Well, I think the same thing applies with airplanes.
Well,
that would be
hold
the
that
time
thought,
to worry,
right?
flying through or around the UTM.
So understand that, like VFR aircraft, they do not have to fly at above 500 feet, right?
True.
So if they're out over a sporadically populated area, they can skim the treetops if they want.
Yeah. We've seen it with military. We've seen it with military here in New York. They decide to fly. These guys knew we were flying drones in the area, and they decided to fly between the stanchions of the towers of the bridge.
Yeah.
Well, no, you saw that right there in High Bridge.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Where I'll go with you too. If you talk to manned aircraft pilots and you ask them some more information about drones, one of the questions I really love to bring towards them is, hey, the FAA requires strobe lighting on drones to fly at night. What do you think?
Yeah.
And they're like, you know what? To us, you're just more ground clutter, and it's just annoying.
Yeah.
They aren't seeing you. They're seeing ground clutter. If it's in the day, they aren't seeing you anyway. You're too small.
True.
And you've got some pilots, oh, well, I can see everything from, eagle's eye. No, you can't. And it's been proven in tests. It's been proven. That's why we have to, see and avoid. It's on us to keep track of manned aircraft in the sky. That makes a real challenge when they're buzzing in, 10 feet over the treetops.
And it's really serious now, with this with Boeing and all of these people now, they can't handle a cold and shit. So you don't want to have no interaction with them with a drone. The whole thing is liable to fall apart.
Well, I hate to bust you guys' bubble, but it's that time.
Really?
It's that magic time. Yes, it is.
Goes.
Time goes when you're having fun, right?
See what you say. See what you did, Lawrence.
Hey, before you kick out though, one last thing.
Yes.
This new bit with the ban on DJI drones with the FCC. This is getting some heat. We saw today TikTok had a vote in the House that passed on a ban. This is getting serious, folks. So
they are getting they're finally getting rid of TikTok.
That's the vote right now. It has to pass the Senate, but
they have to sell it. They have to sell it, or that'll be.
They have to sell part shares of it, and from what I see, TikTok is not being bullied into selling parts of their company, and I don't blame them.
But yeah, that's the concern, is we're seeing the bipartisanship in terms of blocking TikTok. So now the concern becomes DJI, and already we're starting to hear requests for testimony, information about it. So write your congressman, write your senator, knock on their door, make sure you get in touch with them and say, this is ridiculous. You need to stop this FCC ban. We need to have DJI because they are the #1 drone out there. It saves lives.
And it's making money. It's making money here in the States.
Yeah, it's economic livelihood, right?
All right, guys. Anything else you want to say before we get out of here?
That's it. As far
That's
as
it.
with
Put
that
mine-
being said, guys, thank you for coming and hanging out with us. It's been fun, and we'll see you next time with those guys. Good night, everyone. Thank you.